540 fight, and I have Crawford winning this fight. Crawford's going to win this fight doing something that nobody's done to Canelo.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say. And it didn't take me going to camp to know this.
Okay.
If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way to win it.
Is that going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him.
Shawn Porter is adamant fighter Terence Crawford will triumph over Canelo Alvarez. Thinks Crawford is trained to a higher level and will face Canelo with a strategy and execution that have never been seen before. Porter believes that Canelo will be overwhelmed by Crawford's speed, accuracy, and discipline, resulting in a historic fight that will go down as one of the most resounding wins in boxing history.
Makes sense, though. If Crawford's going to win this fight, he'll surprise people in the fashion he does it in. Because a lot of people picking Crawford, they think foot speed and turn Canelo all night. And I'm like, nah, he's
born victory?
No, it's just he's definitely a lot better than the guys of the last couple years who have tried to beat Canelo that way, Billy Joe, Caleb. But even though he's better than them, it didn't that game plan, it just didn't work. So it's not gonna look like that if Crawford pulls this off. It's gonna look different than that, to your point.
One of boxing's most reputable commentators, Roy Jones Jr., has stated unequivocally that he believes Terence Crawford is the more adaptable opponent in this contest. According to Jones, Crawford has 6 distinct routes to victory, all of which are based on his versatility, ring IQ, and capacity for in-fight maneuvers. Jones, on the other hand, thinks that Canelo Alvarez can only win by putting constant pressure and making his trademark power shots. Jones highlighted that Crawford's tactical versatility will overwhelm Canelo if he doesn't give it his all on fight night. As he explained that adaptability frequently determines top matches, particularly when the skill gap is tiny but the strategic margin is huge. The Hall of Famer went towards Crawford in his forecast.
Fight, he does have a chance, and I think he could be victorious. If he doesn't fight the one way that he can only fight to win it, Terence Crawford has 6 ways he can win it. And my money will go on the man who has 6 ways to win it over the man who has 1 way to win it.
So you think Canelo has to kind of fight the perfect fight, right?
If he don't, he's in trouble. If he does, he should be all good.
Let's talk about the weight a little bit, right? Because we all know everything you accomplished as a heavyweight. What is Terence dealing with right now?
I don't think Terence dealing with much of anything, because Terence did like I did as a heavyweight. He bulked up to the weight. He been dealing with super middles and light heavyweights in training. If you can deal with them in training, you can deal with them in the fight. So the weight should not even be an issue.
Do you think Terence is that one fighter where he could accomplish what a lot of people are thinking is not doable? Is he that one fighter who's just wired and has that different DNA?
He is, and not only to mention is he the guy that can, he's already done it. How many 2 or 3 division undisputed champions have we ever had besides Usyk is a 2 division undisputed champ? This dude is a 3 division undisputed champ already, and if he win this, he'll be a 4 division undisputed champ. We may never see that again. See, people don't like to celebrate the reality when it's happening. They'll wait till the person dead and they talk about it. This man is the only 3 division undisputed champion that boxing has ever had. And we're wondering, can he step up to a task? Really? Do you know who we're talking about?
Referencing decades of boxing history, in which top Mexican superstars fought off against great African-American boxers. Comedian and fight enthusiast Ari Spears provided his own historical perspective on the contest. Spears claims that the black fighters frequently prevailed in these well-publicized fights. He cited the combination of deft defensive maneuvers, accurate counterpunching, and flexibility that has historically plagued aggressive, forward-pressing Mexican fighters. Spears framed this bout as another chapter in a long line of culturally and stylistically dissimilar confrontations where speed, defense, and ring craft have had the advantage. Even though he conceded that Canelo is one of the most complete and battle-tested champions of his time,
you take a top-notch Hispanic fighter, put him against the top-notch black fighter, the black dude usually edges him out. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Latino fighters, because look at the greats. De La Hoya, motherfucking
Roberto Duran,
Arguello, Felix Trinidad, what's my man's name? Chavez.
Mhm.
So there have been legends, but 9 times out of 10, when the top Mexican legend takes on the top black legend, the black dude wins. Boxing and basketball is just something that niggas just, we got that wop that just, we edge you out. Duran lost to Hagler. He got knocked out so viciously by Hearns. The rumor is he's still waking up today. He lost he did the no-mas with Leonard.
Yeah, no, I've been hanging out with Sugar Ray Leonard recently. We talked
De
about
La
that whole
Hoya
situation.
lost to Floyd. Yeah. He lost to Bernard. He lost to Sugar Shane Mosley. Usually the black fighters edge out the Latinos when it come down to it.
So basically you're saying Crawford's going to win because he's black.
I'm saying he's going to win because he's got skills. But that black component, that's that extra juice.
That's that extra juice? I mean, look.
It's like the Batmobile when it's going fast and then he hits the nitro button and the flame shoots out of the back of the car and takes it to another level. Black dudes have the nitro switch.
Dayton Raphael, an experienced boxing journalist, emphasized Crawford's mentality, emphasizing that the unbeaten champion not only recognizes, but embraces the risks Canelo poses. Crawford's attitude has always been based on accepting difficulties rather than running away from them, according to Raphael. Crawford uses the intensity of these fights to improve his preparation and attention rather than feeling under pressure. This mental stability could be a decisive component, Raphael explained. Crawford will not be fazed by the situation and will go into the ring ready for anything.
Whatever. I was really excited that Terence Crawford, when we were going through some of the historical things that could take place if he wins this fight, what they would mean. And at the end of that part of the conversation, he says, there's a lot riding on this fight. Like, he knows it. I don't think he feels pressure from it. I think he embraces that. But I like to hear that the fighter understands the magnitude of this fight and embraces that and realizes, like the general public that follows boxing or the media, that this is a bigger deal than your average fight, and that he is keenly aware of that. So I love that. He was very, very well spoken, and we discussed a lot of different topics, and I think people will get a kick out of it. It's on our podcast feed. It'll be up on the YouTube channel, and I hope people check it out.
Sticking with Crawford, because I've spoken to a few guys in his team, and there seems to be this mindset where they really, really believe they're going to win this fight, and obviously every fighter that goes into any fight will believe they win this fight. But do you get that impression that they're in no doubt that this goes their way, and it's a case of just turning up for a payday?
Oh, absolutely. Terence Crawford has never been the kind of fighter that's just looking to take a fight to get paid. Yeah, he's going to get paid a whole ton of money, and so is Canelo Alvarez. But, you know, if you follow Terence Crawford, if you've watched the way he fights, watched the way he conducts himself, know him at all, even just a little bit, I can't claim to be like best buddies with him, but I got a pretty good feel for Crawford, having been around him so many times for all these fights he's had. There is 0.000% chance that he is coming into this fight with anything other than victory in mind. I mean, he really believes that this is his moment to shine and create a huge addition to what's already a tremendous boxing legacy. Besides just the money, I mean, Terence Crawford can take a fight against anybody, make a good amount of money. And so while that's important, of course.
This fight is being marketed as one of Crawford's biggest tests to yet. The stakes are just as high for Canelo, who is perhaps the best opponent he has ever faced. Crawford is a naturally smaller fighter who is gaining weight, therefore losing to him might permanently damage his already stellar record. Legacy is crucial to the historical narrative of boxing. And when you lose to a lesser man in the height of your fame, people tend to look at you more critically. Many people think that Canelo needs to win in order to preserve his status as one of the greatest athletes of all time, in addition to feeling proud.
Canelo's legacy. And he gave a resounding yeah. A resounding yeah. He said it would massively tarnish Canelo's legacy. And some of the things that he said were just basically things that most of us know, just some register and make sure that other people know and others don't, right? But it would tarnish his legacy, and for the obvious reasons. One is, we know that the guy's older. Crawford's older. He's going to be 38 years old here, right? So he's an older fighter. He's an inactive fighter, right? And that most of the time, these are things that, make people say that people are going to lose. Man, he's inactive. So he's pretty inactive, hasn't fought in a year, hasn't fought more than once a year in 3 to 4 years.
The grown-up, highly regarded boxing expert show has been able to objectively analyze the bout while giving both guys the credit they deserve. He noted that Canelo's supremacy throughout the years has been mostly due to his strength, tenacity, and unrelenting pressure. In the division, Canelo is unrivaled in his capacity to deliver strong counters, set traps, and take punishment. Showbiz also emphasized Crawford's distinct upbringing, pointing out that his early wrestling experience has improved his sense of balance, placement, and real-time opponent reading. Crawford's strongest weapon might be his background and boxing acumen.
Canelo uses his legs, he uses his core, and then his neck itself to lift up Bivol like Bivol was a featherweight. That is a huge representation of how strong Canelo is. When you look at his workouts, you can tell why he was able to do that. All these damn neck exercises that I wouldn't dare do. Okay, that stuff looks painful. The squatting and all that stuff that he's doing is exactly why Canelo Alvarez, honestly, is a strong fighter. He tried to do it again with William Skull. William Skull shook out of it, but he is a bull. Listen, Terence Bud Crawford is strong. He is, okay? And he understands leverage and he understands those things because he wrestled. Honestly, very true. But Saul Canelo Alvarez is also extremely strong. Now, let me know how you feel in the comments below.
The idea that Canelo's recent performance against John Ryder is a reliable indicator of what he will bring versus Crawford was refuted by former world champion Chris Aldry. Canelo has a history of improving his performance when the stakes are high, according to Aldry. Aldry anticipates that Canelo will enter this bout in top form, sharper and much more aggressive than in his previous bouts, since his legacy is at stake. Underlined that, rather than the Canelo seen in tune-up fights, fans and analysts should anticipate a driven, well-prepared Canelo.
Opinion changed at all?
Not a whole lot. It hasn't changed all that much. Listen, the Skull fight, could Canelo have done more? Absolutely. But is that going to be the same version of guy that's going to show up in September? No. I mean, Canelo, he didn't look as fit as he did his last fight. He looked listless. He looked like he didn't care. He didn't have the crowd behind him. And Marcus, you've been to a ton of Canelo fights. You know how that arena is. It is insane. Insane. In Vegas, I mean, it's deafening, the entire fight. I remember when he fought BJ Saunders in Texas.
Oh my God.
And he's waving Saunders on 80,000 fans.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he is a gladiator. You know, I called Tim a warrior. Canelo's a gladiator. He is there for the adoration of the fans. I just think that he was a little too clinical in there that night. You know, he didn't have that same drive. He had a guy who just was not willing to engage. That's not going to be Crawford, and that's not going to be Canelo. They're going to be their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, wow, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing if a lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. And don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. But in terms of, how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw because there's a lot of confounding factors.